Good day, everyone. This is Mr. A&F, and I'm joined here by Lippy and Curran for a little quick show for y'all. Lippy, Curran, y'all go ahead and say hi.
Hi, my name is Lippy.
Hello, this is Kern.
All right, great. So what we did here is
Reporting for duty.
reporting for duty. We put together a little show for everybody, so everyone's up to date on the rookies. We're going to be doing that in the second half here. We're going to get started with just a recap of the year. We thought it'd be fun. We're gonna end up uploading this. Probably you'll see it on YouTube. So just give us lots of comments and tell us how bad it is. And
Be sure to share it, get the engagement up.
yeah,
all our
sure,
fans
yeah,
need to
like,
see it.
comment, subscribe. Isn't that the algorithm right there?
Oh yeah.
Next episode, we already have our first featured guest lined up. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, go ahead and drop us a comment, or when you're insulting us in GroupMe, go ahead and just give us a direct message there as well. So, as you can see, Curran actually painted this picture here on the bottom left of your screen here. So, big props to him. He's been working on his painting. And we're going to go and just get started now. So, this is the 2020 season, just the standings for everyone. As you can see, and from what y'all remember, Jack kind of ran away with this.
It really was no contest from the start. He took his dick out and laid it down and spread it all over our face. Is this going to be PG or is this going to be like yelling? Should we set precedent on
say
that?
Say whatever you want. I'm not marking this as like one of those for kids videos. So
okay, I don't want to get demonetized, Alexander.
Right? Yeah. Well, Kurt, we have to get to 1,000 subscribers for it to get monetized. So that's never.
Well, I'm gonna talk about. I'm going to talk about $20 Derrick Henry's dong all over our face for the next 20 minutes then.
Okay, perfect. I guess, so just to give them their due, Jack, of course, won the Shit Beast Empire. Golly won the Shit Pit. And Hunter beat out Jonah by one game in the cornhole.
It never really was close, though. It never got closer to where anyone else except the top four all season were in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of four teams all year.
And also, just to give Lippman his due, he of course came away with the 4 seed in the wild card spot.
Honorable mention's always important.
Yeah. The wild card race was interesting at times. I remember talking to Monstar back when he started his little late season push, and he really believed that he could make it. And Jonah came close as well. Lippman, did you ever have any doubt you were going to win the wild card spot?
That was never in doubt. The only doubt was losing to Jack in the first round.
Yeah, well, I know that's rubbed you the wrong way a little bit. We'll save seeding talk about possible changes for a different episode. Just know that if you're listening, those are bad and vote against them. What I do want to talk about is Kern, who really just about tied me in the division with maybe the worst team in Apex history. Kern, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'll say this, Alexander, and this was my theme across multiple leagues, but to keep the scope into Apex, maybe I was too hyped on Dynasty. Granted, I was really hyped on Dynasty last year. I caught the rookie fever early, but I will say, in my defense, with the whole COVID, it was a strange year with COVID. A lot of these rookies didn't get a lot of preseason. They got barely any training camp, not a lot of contact with the teams. But I will say that most of the rookies I was really high on did pan out. They just started real slow, and the transition from being a highly touted, highly invested draft capital rookie running back, wide receiver, whatever, to getting that momentum into the season took a lot longer than I'd hoped. And I think by the time it caught up to me, I'd pretty much kind of gone full pot committed to having JT work out. He had his slow start. Swift had his slow start with his injury. There's the infamous Rojo trade where I think process won over that. I think just a lot of facts changed really quickly, and I probably should have held the bag a little sooner before dishing my nugs out that quick.
Yeah.
But look, I will say, Alexander, and I'm not going to toot my own horn much longer. I'll just leave it at this: for scoring the 5th most points in the league, losing CMC, and then having to consider those slow starts on the running backs. I think, I'm not too disappointed. I was in a division with Lippy and Jack, and they came out swinging, and they scored a shit ton of points. It was a tough division. I knew it was going to be an uphill battle, we came back and broke even, and you know what? That's all you can ask for.
You know, Kern, it kind of sounds like divisions defeated you because, like you said, 5th most points scored, but you sound real defeated, like you had a bad season. I mean, if you weren't in the division, you would have had a little more hope.
Curran did have a very bad season. His team was very bad.
It wasn't a bad season. It was a unorthodox. It was very unorthodox for the rookie class because we've seen time and time again. We've seen over the last few seasons that the time it takes for a day 1, day 2 rookie running back to make noise in the NFL, it does not take very long because the draft capital for a running back is considered highly invested if it's a round 2, pick. Like we're not seeing like the early 2000s where these running backs are getting dished. Who was it? Like Jonathan Stewart's getting the top 10 draft capital. Because he's just a big old running back. Like a lot of these players are getting devalued, and so I thought that the process was there. I'm going to chalk up to COVID. And I'm going to follow the process again next year. Pretty similar.
I'm going to cut you off.
I don't think I'm going to change my. I don't think I'm going to change my methodology much, Alexander.
We're going to cut you off there because we're going to spend a whole other episode here in a little bit just talking about how badly you played this season. I do want to give one little bit of props to Timo because Timo had a lot of bad stuff happen to his team as well, and still scored.
Hold on. Which Timo?
Timo.
Big Timo. Okay, got it.
I thought we were talking about 3-1 Timo.
Yeah,
or 3-11
yeah,
Timo.
we are. Again, Curran, he's not very mentally sharp. But see, he had a lot of bad stuff happen to his team as well. I did, of course, as well. Along with the trade, we'll talk about very shortly. It still scored over 150 more points than me. So to my homies down at the bottom, Timo, K. Cole, and Dustin, way to keep it, at least somewhat respectable. Wasn't the best year for all of us. So
yeah, Alexander, I think you may have assembled the worst team in history.
All right, Curry. Well, that's
look. Here's the thing.
That's certainly an opinion.
It's definitely an opinion. When you come out and you invest like 90% of your team into the NFC East, and you hope it's going to work, it's
slide. Okay. Trade of the year. If you guys follow along with me, we have a couple of nominations up here. One really sticks out, and we'll get to that one at the end, which I've decided is the victor. If y'all want to disagree, feel free. I know that Lippy won't. For the first one, let's talk about this one over here on the far right. The Josh Allen for Robert Tonyan trade. Kern, can you talk us through the inner machinations of your mind when you're making that trade?
Well, Alexander, in a single QB league, a dual threat QB will definitely reign supreme. And we definitely wanted him on our team. We thought he'd be a difference maker. And we definitely tried to get him all season. And the Dusty Divot was gifted with this keeper. I think he kept him for like $1, and then he drafted a lot of good other quarterbacks, and basically didn't have much else on his team. And so, just with perseverance and with just continuing trade offers each week, eventually I waited until a good time where Josh Allen went on. Like I'm pulling it up right now. He looks like he scored 16, 15, 16, and 12 after starting 28, 34, 31, and 25. And so I think what Dustin may have been thinking was that first 4-week sample size, all the narrative was based around, Josh Allen was playing these really fucking, Swiss cheese defenses. He's not really a good passer, and then when he comes out and plays Tennessee, Kansas City, and the Jets and New England, which aren't the best defenses in the world, and puts those performances up, you know what? I saw a window. And I think that I executed the proper time, and he went on to be, QB, where did he finish? 1? Yeah, QB 1. Holy shit. Yeah.
Current,
so, you love to see it.
You really deserve a lot of props for this trade because I know in the back of your head you're thinking, can my team survive without Robert Tonyan? And I know that must have been difficult. How were you able to convince yourself that you would be able to make it week to week without Robert Tonyan?
I mean, look, when you have Hayden Hurst, you feel like you can balance it out a little bit. And, we ran a good SWOT analysis on the whole team, and we realized that we needed to have this quarterback. And we saw a need on Garrett's team, and I feel like he felt nice and he felt pretty hot and bothered. And he had, after our first trade where he felt like he bent me over, so I think he was already feeling pretty good about himself. And
that is,
we executed it, and I mean, it played out the way it played out.
Now that is worth mentioning. I do want to say, Karen, you started off the year not on the back foot. plumb on your ass after Dustin just jammed you in the trade. Where you traded Antonio Gibson, I don't know, probably like $6,000 draft dollars for what was it, Ronald Jones? Is that right? Terrible trade by you. We're gonna move on to Lippman.
I'm looking at that trade right now, and honestly, if you look at that trade in a dynasty format right now, it's really sad.
Your old news, Kurt. We're moving on to
moving on. Okay.
Lippman, we're gonna get to your great trade in a moment, but you got to talk us through this trade with Kevin Cole.
This trade was pretty simple. At the end of the day, we were hoping Mostert and Michael Thomas were in normal form by week 15. We did that trade November 15th, so we had a month plus to get them to actually just be two solid point scorers. Granted, it never happened because Michael Thomas sucks and Mostert never got healthy, but it was the dream, and it never worked.
It's a terrible trade looking back on it, but I guess what is confusing to me is how many running backs San Francisco has, like how many they have that could have RB1 picks. Like Jeffrey Wilson is not a
Jeffrey Wilson.
I never thought that would be a person that is fantasy relevant, and
he's going to be sneaky next year. He will be very sneaky next year.
Turning out these running backs. Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone with a jersey and pads on that offense that's at running back.
It's Kyle Shanahan, baby. He's a wizard.
Real quick, just to get y'all's thoughts. I know it's pre-draft. We don't know what's going to happen to the draft. How in the world? I mean, if he's not kept for market, how do you look at James Robinson?
If they don't draft anyone, that man's a top 10 running back.
What if they do draft?
End the story. If they draft someone, you kind of got to fade them. Because you got a new coaching staff that came in, knew everything, new quarterback, knew everything. And they obviously put their faith in another running back if the draft capital's there.
Yeah.
But you feel like they're not going to waste their draft capital on a running back, right?
I mean, but they spent nothing on James Robinson, right? Like was he undrafted or a 6th rounder?
He was undrafted.
He was undrafted. Yeah,
he was undrafted.
Foster. Yeah, Philip Lindsay. I mean, he's amazing. What was it? They had the 32nd out of 32 rushing attempts, and he still finishes as a top 10 running back. That's just insane. Awesome for him. I have no idea how to evaluate it. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do in the draft.
Yeah, we just have to watch and see. Like, it's all contingent on the draft. If a day 2 or 3 running back goes there, I mean, it dampens it a little bit. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, like Libby said, just, yeah, like, brand new everything. I mean, starter fresh. They have a ton of, we joke about the cap. They have a ton of cap, and they have tons of picks. Yeah. They're literally going into this with a fucking fresh whiteboard, and they want to build a massive, glorious house around Sunshine. So we'll see really quick. He's now plummeting in like this volatile space where he can either go to the moon or, you know, come down pretty, you know, become like a 4th round, 5th round running back pick, or be like a top 2 round running back.
Yeah, I mean, and just one last thought on him. I don't want to make it seem like the day 2, day 3 pick is a death knell, because I mean we saw Keyshawn Vaughn prove that you can get picked really early and not mean anything in the scheme of things.
Montgomery was picked pretty late last year, or 2 years ago. He's 3rd rounder.
Yeah.
Then you still have Rashad Penny 1st round for Seahawks.
Yeah, they just paid.
Yeah,
they just
they're
paid
outliers.
His counterpart the bag. It's interesting. Moving on now to a trade that Curran used his fascism powers to reverse was Lamar Jackson for Todd Gurley.
Explain yourself, Curran.
Yeah, Curran, tell me why you reversed this trade.
I mean, I'm hoping, I'm hoping that we will, as a league, continue to grow and mature, because, and I hope that we continue to respect the landscape. And Alexander, look, I'm all about sitting Ram trades, but the fact of the matter is, if you would have kept your mouth shut, if you would have just been like, yes, that's a trade I made, but you came out and you made it, you wouldn't. What I've landed on is you would not have said, for people who are listening who have no idea what happened, you look at the trade on the screen, and it was sometime around, so it still looks like November 1st, so pretty, mid-season. Playoffs were kind of shaping out. Hunter was kind of a favorite to go to the playoffs, and so at that time, Todd Gurley, we know he sucks, but he was catching. He was catching a lot of steam. It was really bad.
Somehow
he was catching.
At the same time, he's the worst pick ever, and yet he's performing.
All right, look. Here's all I'm gonna say. Any trade, because I'm at the point now with the league where I trust everyone's judgment. I want everyone to make all the moves they want to make.
Yeah.
But Alexander, if you're gonna send trades back and forth with Hunter and then have one accept, and you come out publicly immediately and say, "Oh, whoops, I was just haphazardly offering trades."
Karen, my crime was telling the truth.
You what?
Gurley didn't have more than 27 rushing yards after that veto trade, Kern, in a game.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a curse.
He didn't score more than 6.5 points in a fantasy game after that trade.
I feel like it was a curse, and I feel like I knew immediately it'd be one of those things where I wasn't going to win regardless of what I did as a commissioner, because immediately, immediately when it happened, I had like 5 DMs from guys like Jack and Golly and all those dudes being like, what the fuck, like they can't just fucking jerk off and blow loads all over the league like that just to fuck with us. Like, it seemed like a troll job, and at that point in the season, with how tight playoffs were and the tensions of being in midseason, it was like, you know what? If Hunter and Alexander are just going to jerk each other off, and this has no precedent, and it was a quote-unquote joking trade, or quote-unquote we just can't do that. And so I'm hoping it was learned, because...
And I told you then that I wasn't asking for you to reverse it. Like, I was joking with Hunter.
I know you weren't, Alexander. I know you weren't. I know you didn't give a fuck, but that's not the point. You weren't in the playoffs. You can't walk into a 5-star restaurant and fucking drop your fucking pants down and be like, I don't care, like I'm just gonna have my dick out. Like everyone else is trying to eat fucking dinner, you know, like you know what I mean, Alexander? Like,
Kurt, it looks like I sandbagged a potential wild card candidate. Or the division winner.
You didn't sandbag.
With a landmine of Todd Gurley. It was a landmine.
Exactly. Lippman speaks the truth. Because pretty much their seasons went the opposite ways from that day going forward, pretty much. I mean,
and I feel like it was a curse.
I'm just saying.
Well, look, I'll end it on this. I'll end on this so I can just say that if there was a world, Alexander, where if that trade happened, I said, okay, everyone saw that y'all were just jerking off, and I let it go through. And if for some reason Todd Gurley went on to continue getting his shithead touchdowns and Lamar Jackson continued to suck, there's a chance things look much different. And so that's when there's a whole nother upset side of this on the other side. So I think it was a situation.
I know, Kurt. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay.
That was we were just joking. We had probably sent, I don't know, 6 or 7 trades apiece at that point, and I had no idea that he was actually going to accept it.
Yeah, and it's fine. And going forward, I think it's fine if y'all do that. I mean, if it's all
Hunter's fault.
Yeah, I think it's fine, whatever. But I think that ultimately you should never send a trade with that idea. And so I'm hoping we all learn from it, and I'll make an announcement as commissioner where I think I need to have a steadfast. I mean.
No,
I can't really be absolute about these things.
Close the open market, Kern. Close the open market.
All trades go
I just can't be absolute about these things, because it's at any given time I have to be the final breach wall from vomit, and even if I get vomit on myself, so that's why I'll end my rant at that.
You know, Karen, when you grow facial hair, your mustache kind of looks like Stalin's. Just to.
Can you see me right now?
No.
If you turned your camera on, we could.
I've got such intense facial hair right now. I got such a bush in my face.
We can't see you, thank God.
How do you put the camera on? Wait, hold on, wait.
Just got a naval camera, sir.
The
naval camera. Let's see.
Bird.
You see that?
God, wow. Now the good people of Apex are gonna have no idea what we're talking about. This is not captured y'all's video, but.
Do you see it?
Yeah. Goodness.
Yeah.
People of Apex, you got to be happy you're not getting his video right now.
I am getting a haircut tomorrow, boys. So I'll be a little more clean.
Good
all right.
God, you look like you're a Cuban revolutionary. Okay, let's get to the fun part for Lippman.
It's a great trade we're going to get to here.
This trade kind of worked out for you.
Just what were you feeling after? I mean, for the people at home, Lippman, myself, received Amari Cooper, Dalvin Cook, and Tariq Cohen before the season started. and all we had to give up was Saquon, Deion Lewis, and Brandon Ayuk. And afterwards, Alexander, you were acting like you just robbed the moon of all its gold.
I thought Dalvin Cook was going to sit out. I really did. I thought he was going to sit out.
Yeah, that's tough.
It really sucked. And I think if Saquon doesn't get injured,
it would be okay. Yeah.
It doesn't hurt as bad. Like, it would still be bad, but it wouldn't be as bad. But man,
because Ayuk balled out.
Yeah, he really turned into something. I dropped him like week 2 though. Oh my goodness! Well, that's definitely trade of the year. My good. Well, I mean,
I think that was more injury based. I think
that ACL just absolutely ruined it, and then the fact that Dalvin just absolutely blew up.
Yeah.
Honestly, and look, I've never wanted to toot Lippy's horn, but the trade that's not on here, I think, was the trade that got him James Robinson to begin with. I think that trade that you did,
that was a really good
trade. That trade where you dished off Ridley and like Marquise Brown or some shit, and you got like James Robinson and or you did something.
I got Robinson and somebody else.
It was clean because after that, Ridley was fine, but then you got fucking James Robinson for the rest of the season.
It was after week 3. That was beautiful.
I think that pushed you because then you got Dalvin Cook, and I think those two just put you so far ahead of our division with Jack. It was like, motherfucker, Timo.
Yeah, well, that kind of takes us to we've got the best fab pickups next, and the first one is James Robinson for $2 by Timo.
It was like 3 days after he was announced the starter, and nobody believed it.
Nobody believed it except Timo, who put in $2 fucking and got an RB1.
The RB4 or 5 on the season for $2.
Yeah, definitely shout out for Timo because that.
I kept fucking Raquel Armstead on my fucking IR spot for 9 weeks because I refuse to believe it. But holy fuck!
Well,
yeah,
poor guy was in the hospital practically half the year.
Incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and along that same line, Karen, I put my Chris Thompson for $69 fab pickup there, just as a reference. While I was doing that, Timo made maybe the best free agent pickup maybe ever. For $2.
That really is. That's the best free agent pickup ever. I think he got James Robinson for $2, and it cost him Larry Fitzgerald $2. That's incredible.
I got Eckler that first year for $11, but James Robinson for $2 beats that by a mile. That's
pretty good.
That's insane.
You got probably whoever picked up OBJ back in the day. Because he probably wasn't drafted after this first season.
Oh yeah,
that's probably a top tier pickup.
You know who picked up OBJ back in the day? It was Young Curb. It really was Young Curb. I promise you. I picked his ass up and he blew off. But I do think I traded him to Golly for a running back and then watched him continue to go crazy.
Well, Golly's got a really good fab pickup here. Justin Herbert for $10. That's pretty solid.
Pretty good.
He finished as he finished as a top 5 quarterback, didn't he? Or was he 6?
Something like that. He went crazy.
Yeah, a great pickup by Gully.
There is an honorable mention fab pickup of the year. It was Jonah Zaylor who picked up Ryan Nall and dropped the Cam Akers.
Oh my God.
Week 11 or week 12. Underrated move by him.
No, I gotta look that up. I gotta look that up right now. Hold on, let me see it. I'm gonna find this on my phone.
There's a Ryan Nall pickup and then a Ryan Nall drop and then Akers. If you go to his
the history, here it is right here. He dropped him and then picked him up for. God,
he might have been clearing space. He might have been clearing space on his team, but still.
God. Then Hunter picked him up for 15 fab.
Oh, and loses all the keeper value. $13 keeper value right there.
Yeah, that's
or 17.
Yeah.
God, that
belongs on the wall of shame with that Chris Thompson pickup there.
That's nauseating.
And Monstar, of course, got 2 L's for $0. That's a nice pickup. In November 2nd, too, so he's already been producing at this point. Good pickup by Monstar. Any other terrible free agent plays that y'all remember? Just while we're here on Fab.
The Cam Akers one sticks out. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a boring year. It was a boring year on the wire. Besides, obviously, J-Rob.
Yeah. It was a COVID year. Everything was so fucked. It was the first year one thing I want to talk about, maybe for another episode, was the value of running backs and how bad they fell apart because no one was healthy, no one produced, no one got up and running. Like Jonathan Taylor finishes like the RB5 or whatever it was, and like ran for 1,000. Like Ronald Jones was like. Like Ronald Jones was like fourth in rushing and rushed for like 1,000 yards. Like it was unreal. Like I was comparing like the finishes from last year to this year. It is a huge discrepancy.
Yeah. You know what's going to be interesting is like that idea of 1,000-yard rusher. How I mean that's not even going to mean the same thing now that we've got the 18-week season.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Now, Kurt,
I did see something that was it was like what record's going to be broke first: the passing yard record, the tackle record, the 33 like all-purpose touchdown record, or the passing touchdown record.
They might all they might all break this year.
Yeah.
They'll break every single record this year.
Make a parlay and put them all on. Kurt, can we get you on the record now saying that our championship will now be week 17?
Oh, get that officially said. Wow, that's big.
Our championship weekend is week 7. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not because
week 16 before
the consolation brackets goes to week 17. So that means
well, you got to think about it, Kern, because now week 18 is the week everyone gets rested.
Yeah.
So we go to week 17.
It's true. It is
so
very true.
The Apex title will be week 17. One extra week of regular season.
More fantasy. So I guess, yeah. I honestly haven't thought much about it as much as I should.
Are we Kurt, we're going to put you on the spot. Week 17.
What's the general like fantasy community saying about
week
it? Like, are they all saying move it back a day?
Everyone's saying week
17. Well, and then we also got to keep in mind you need it back another week because there's going to be bye weeks because I think everyone gets 2 bye weeks now.
Yeah.
Wait.
Really?
Is there an extra bye week? No,
I think it's just one bye week. Yeah. There's one bye week, and I think that, so I guess we'd have up to week 17, one more regular season game, so we'd play 3 people twice. We'd play our whole division twice.
The Packers have the Chiefs as their extra game. I think it goes, you're going to get an AFC foe if you're an NFC team, or vice versa.
That's correct. You get
so the Packers have, we have the Chiefs,
that's
which
correct.
Is going to be interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
What about for fantasy? Like, so I guess, like, you play your whole division twice, and then we get to play some random wild card once.
Yeah, it'll probably just be like a random matchup every year. So, like the division matchups will always repeat, and then every year you'll play a random person twice. I imagine that's how Sleeper.
You could have it be a rivalry matchup that you got to play one person guaranteed an extra game. So we get Alexander versus Kern extra game every year. The people would not complain at home. They would not.
I would love.
That's a free dub every year. So.
I would love a free Alexander dub every year. It would definitely fluff up the stats.
It's kind of strange we're both getting free dubs every year.
You could have Taylor Morris versus Taylor Morris twice a year. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Alexander, if you pick any more bangers this year again, it's going to be hard to compete.
Yeah. All right, Kurt. Let's go ahead.
Moving on.
We're going to move on to the NFL draft. I've put this in here to include all of our teams. Of the Apex teams, anyway, draft picks. Kern, we'll start you off here. What do the Saints need to do in this draft?
Well, we have completely ripped apart any semblance of depth on our roster because we had to clear cap.
Mm-hmm.
So
cap doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter in a sense where it doesn't matter because when you have Jameis Winston and you have Taysom Hill playing jerk-off circle jerk for quarterback, it's kind of whatever right now. We're just having fun. We're here for a good time, not a long time. I think that with the 20th pick, I think we should probably go with a corner, but the Homer Nutbust pick, I think, would be picking someone like Terrace Marshall, a wide receiver, or like Rondale Moore. That would just be it would just be such a, just go pot commit on the offense, try to build as much as we can to get these new quarterbacks something, but we'll probably stick with a defensive position.
Karen,
we'll probably pick
a receiver when you'll have Traquan Smith. I don't understand.
Why would we if we have Traquan Smith?
Yeah.
I mean, Traquan Smith has been extremely whatever since he came into the league. I mean, we have all those wide receivers did well because we had Drew Brees forcing them to do well. I mean, now it's we saw what happened when we put any quarterback. It was Taysom Hill, but he just focused on Michael Thomas the entire game, and we have no real pass catchers outside of MT and Kamara. So we have the Trout God, Adam Troutman. Shout out. He'll take a step forward.
God. Okay.
I like Callaway a lot. He's coming on into his own a lot. Deontay Harris is coming into his own a lot. But Alexander, we need a pedigree pass catcher to take some pressure off MT,
Especially
take pressure off Kamara.
Kern, can we get your thoughts on Taysom Hill saying in past off seasons he would train to be a multi-tooled position player, but this year he's just training to be a QB? Do you think it's going to be Taysom a QB all year?
I don't see how. I just don't think it's going to work. I think we're going to try it for 4 weeks, and we're going to have the most unexciting offense in the league, and we'll average 100 yards a game on offense, and he'll throw 2 picks, and it's going to be awful for fantasy football. If he comes out and if Sean Payton says that Taysom's our dude, and he's going to get a majority of our snaps, then I say you fade everyone on the Saints offense for fantasy football. It's not worth the capital. I think it's going to be.
There are people that are saying the Saints are going to finish last in the NFC South.
I don't think we'll do that. I think that I think we have enough.
Y'all beat the Panthers.
We have enough of a defense, and we have enough of a coaching staff. And we have enough of playmakers to at least finish the year. At least, I still think at least second in our division. I don't think we'll fall behind the Falcons or the.
No.
Who?
Y'all will not beat Atlanta. Atlanta will beat y'all for second.
I don't think so. Matt Ryan kind of sucks, and our defense really sucks. And Julio's old, and they have Calvin Ridley. What do they have?
Calvin Ridley might be the best receiver in the league. We'll get to that later.
Well, those are my thoughts.
For the Titans, it doesn't really matter who they draft. Their team is terrible. Did y'all see what happened with their O-lineman they drafted in the first round last year?
Yes, Isaiah Wilson traded for a 7th rounder this offseason. Big news.
Oh my god.
That's pretty stupid.
There's a chance he doesn't play another snap. I don't know. Other than Johnny Manziel, I can't think of a worse first-round pick in a while. Can y'all?
That was pretty bad. Definitely tough.
Yeah.
Definitely tough.
I've been looking at some hot takes from the Titans facilities, though. They could use one of those second-tier tight ends in that 2nd, 3rd round, where you can get Pat Freiermuth.
They did lose Jonnu.
I can't remember the other guy's name right now, but that would be an interesting pick for the Titans.
Speaking of Jonnu, what do y'all think his ceiling is next year? Now that he's on a 2-headed tight end system,
I think it's going to be fun.
It's
going to be a lot of fun.
Really fun.
That's going to be a cool NFL thing. I don't know if it's going to be a cool fantasy thing.
As someone who owns some Hunter Henry, I'm hopeful. There's worse landing spots for Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith.
Yeah. As someone who has Jonnu Smith, I'm hopeful, but it just depends. If Mac Jones goes there and they don't really draft a highly touted wide receiver, and just Mac Jones being really efficient, throwing dump offs and really good accurate passes to them the entire game, I'm here for it.
Karen, they re-signed Cam.
They re-signed Cam to a very whatever contract. If they have a chance to move up and take a quarterback, I think they do.
That's a former MVP you're talking about, but we'll just go ahead and move on to the Packers. Lippman, talk us through what the Pack need to do.
Here's what the Pack need to do. The Pack need to trade the 29th pick. They need to trade Jordan Love, and then they need to move up to 15 and take Devontae Smith. End of the day, that's going to make some moves. We're going to win a Super Bowl with Devontae Smith as our number 2. It's going to be beautiful.
Lippman, give me the percentage likelihood that Aaron Rodgers wins another ring.
48%.
Okay, that's not terrible. I think it's a little high, but I don't blame you.
Back-to-back 13-3 seasons make the NFC title game. You're looking at a 25% chance each year right there. Wow.
Lippman,
I think if he keeps playing the way he does, then he's
gonna have 2 more chances. He's gonna have 2 more chances in the NFC title game to get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he's playing lights.
Is he gonna lose 6? Is he gonna lose 6 straight NFC title games? Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Lippman, I know it was hard at the time, and maybe it's just destiny for Brady to keep winning. Can you talk us through now? Why did the Packers kick a field goal?
I think Aaron Rodgers could have ran that ball in on 3rd down.
Granted, I totally agree. He could have made something more out of the 3rd. But what was that call?
I mean, once it happened, everyone in the stadium knew we weren't getting the ball back. Everyone in the world knew it.
Yeah. I mean, that's just insane.
I mean, you defeat yourself by kicking a field goal there. It's just the absolute worst call possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just thrown in the towel. There have been people coming out saying, "Oh, but the statistics say that's the right play." That is bullshit.
No, like the fuck off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That took the whole life out of the game when they did that.
What I will say for our next team down here is that I really have no idea what. I mean, I have no idea what this team.
You couldn't make a team worse if you wanted to. Like, you couldn't. And I mean that with all due respect, Alexander. You couldn't make a team worse if you tried.
About it, Kern. Please do not be respectful to this team.
Why did y'all?
When do you all own a first-round pick again? Do you have it next year at least? You do have it next year?
Yeah.
Thank God. That's so. Like, why did y'all pick up 3 aging free agent running backs? Like, that was the answer to y'all's problems.
Letting go of Jadeveon Clowney, though, looks like a great move. I mean, Billy Bob did it again.
0 sacks. 0 sacks for Clowney last year on the Titans. That was nice.
Yeah, he actually does. Yeah, he actually was kind of whatever. But holy fuck, y'all have created a very foul situation there.
I mean, who
does Deshaun play another snap? Yeah, does Deshaun play another snap? I think he does, but I don't know.
I don't know if he plays another one in a Texans uniform.
I think he plays another one. Maybe not this year. I think he gets, at the worst, he'll get suspended for a whole season.
Because there are currently 22 separate cases.
You see that he came out and disputed everyone in different ways. Some of them are just... we'll see.
It's very messy. I've heard some things where, like, he came out and put it in their court where, like, they would need to actually come out and, like, come forward publicly, or like they have to at least come forward and identify themselves, like, to
that's already happened. That's already happened. Yeah.
That's already happened. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and Watson came out with a rebuttal to all 22 of the complaints.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And like specific reasons, like these 6 bragged that they massaged Deshaun, so they must not be telling the truth.
Which he just gets a year, which is unfortunate.
So bad. Oh.
It's bad, Alexander, and I think that it shows how greasy the NFL really is, and this is a whole super conversation, but I think, like,
I know, yeah.
You look at people who sell tickets, like Ray Rice, he was losing momentum, he wasn't really averaging as much as he was kind of getting, on the out and out, and he got made an example of, and you look at guys like, Jameis Winston coming to the NFL with all his allegations, he's a first overall pick, they kind of put him under the rug, and then, I think Watson's a superstar quarterback. I think that he puts people in seats, and I think that the NFL has more power than people know, and I think this will, at the worst...
So what would you give up for him in Dynasty then, sir?
I actually offered a trade in a rebuild.
Oh.
I'm rebuilding a team right now, and I offered, like, Matt Stafford, and, like, I think I tried just offering Matt Stafford for him straight up, because it was a competing team, and I was like, hey, like, you just want Matt Stafford for him straight up? It was like... He said, "Nah, I'm just gonna hold on to him." I think you'd have to give. I think
Matt Stafford and a first might get it done to our owner that just doesn't want to deal with it right now.
I would do
Think about Tyreek Hill's value that offseason. It was actually our first offseason ever doing Dynasty. He was a 6th-round startup pick because of all the question marks about if he'd play.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's in the startup draft. I did a few startup drafts this year, but he's gone. Watson's always gone like at the back of the 2nd round, 3rd round turn. So he's retaining so much value. Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you can stomach not having him for a year, he's worth whatever you're going to pay for him.
Yeah. I think if you have no future and you want to just punt a year, I think Stafford in a first would get it done, and I think that would be a good move.
Well, I mean, if we spend any more time talking about the Texans, I'm just gonna turn off my computer. So
you're gonna be sad.
We're gonna move on now to the rookie corners. We're gonna do quarterbacks and running backs first, and then followed up with receivers. Lippy and Kern, y'all love the rookies way more than I do this year. I mean, I'll talk me through these quarterbacks. Where do y'all want them to go? Where do y'all not want them to go? And I'm
gonna be honest here.
How many of these quarterbacks are startable this year?
That's right there, Alexander. You have in this draft, you have 5 quarterbacks that are going to be starters in the NFL. It's that simple. Where they're going to go,
beautiful.
Sure. You might have one where you don't love spot like Zach Wilson to the Jets, like everyone seems to be convinced is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then you could have Justin Fields going to Atlanta. Sign me up. Trey Lance in New England. Mac Jones in New England. Someone maybe goes to Chicago and gets the weapons they have there.
Go to the Broncos.
Sign me up for
go to the Broncos. Go to San Francisco. There's so many. Alexander, the reason we love this draft class is not because, like last year, look, we loved the draft class last year, or at least speaking on my end, the running back pedigree was so good, and we saw it. There's literally the reason why in drafts we're seeing quarterbacks and now wide receivers have tons of value too is because there's an inflation of RB1s. They're everywhere. There's so many good young running backs.
I agree
like
with
they're
that.
all over the fucking place. And it came from this last year's class. It was stupid. And we all knew it was coming. We knew Jerry Jeudy was there and CeeDee Lamb was there, but like the running back pedigree was so sick. It's not there this year. I think you have a clear break after Najee and Etienne. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell is an elite pass catcher. Like all these guys have good upside, but like they don't. I think we can all agree that overall the running back class as a whole does not even hold a candle to last year's class. But Lippy's right. The reason why in Superflex formats it's good to get these draft round picks is because you have 5 starting quarterbacks that should go in the first round of Superflex rookie drafts. So it just pushes so much of that top heavy talent down. And that's why we have that giant break where it's like the 4 quarterbacks go, like these 4 upside quarterbacks. No one really has a lot of upside view on Mac Jones because he's kind of like a statue. It's like Kirk Cousins, but I mean, like you have them in like just injected in those top like 10 picks. So like you get guys like Etienne and a Najee Harris. You get guys like a Jamar Chase, Tyler Pitts, or like fucking in those top 10 picks. And it's like in one QB league it'd be a lot different. So
okay, and I buy that. I also think y'all are insane if y'all think Matt Ryan's not starting the whole year next year.
It depends.
I don't think.
I don't know.
They could take Kyle Pitts. There's a lot of swimming around the ocean, Alexander, where they take Kyle Pitts, and you know what, Alexander? I'll be the first to say I was wrong. They decided to fade, and they took Kyle Pitts, and they did not take a quarterback. And you know what? That does make Matt Ryan more valuable this season because more weapons. Because Kyle Pitts is a fucking mismatched nightmare, fucking super freak.
People are talking about Kyle Pitts as the best overall, guaranteed, like, best player in this draft.
Yeah, he's insane, dude. His tape. I know we're talking about tape, Alexander.
People are falling in love with him.
Go watch some Kyle Pitts tape,
Alexander. Watch the tape.
Go watch some Kyle Pitts tape. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I
totally understand what y'all are saying. And
you keep sleeping on them, Alexander. You continue to sleep on them, and I get it, but you have to admit that we're entering an NFL where these young guys are starting to get integrated into offenses a lot faster. Their shelf life's a lot shorter because they're playing in high impact. Like the NFL is much different now. I mean, so they're trying to get their first year contract out of them and shit. Like it's not like back in the day where you draft, like fucking, Derrick Henry in the second round, you let him sit for 2 years behind DeMarco Murray, and like it's not like that anymore. You throw them out there like middle of the fucking season, and they start rolling, dude.
In the same sense, Kern, all these wide receivers, we're talking 11 wide receivers in the top 2 rounds. These wide receivers like Juju, Kenny G, when they're trying to get their second contract, all of a sudden they're like, hang on a second, we can get a better, maybe the same wide receiver in the second round of this draft. Why would we pay you $10 million a year, $16 million a year?
Exactly.
I mean, granted, you're going to have teams like the Giants that are going to dish it out because they want a playmaker, but it's hard to find them.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
I actually have a little sleeper running back section for this conversation right now. Ramondre Stevenson. So I know you guys are wondering who is Ramondre Stevenson. Honestly, I don't know who he is either.
You don't even know who he is. Okay, does he play football?
He does play football. Okay. If he gets round 3 or better draft capital, here's a little stat for you guys. Over the past 6 years, there have only been 6 running backs that have weighed in at 220 or more pounds and had 30 or more receiving yards per game. That's 30 receiving yards per game in their last college football season. Saquon, not bad. David Johnson, not bad. Joe Mixon, some people think he's good. Antonio Gibson, Najee Harris, and Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, if the guy gets the capital and he lands on a team that has a little about him,
is this the new Brady 6? We will find out.
I'm here for that.
I will absolutely agree to what you're saying, Karen, about how it is changing, and Lippman has always said this as well, that the rookies have a quicker pathway to starting roles than ever before. So I of course do agree. with that. I mean, we'll have to work. We'll have to look out for your running backs.
One spicy take, Alexander, that I'll say just to answer your first question on best positions where these goes.
Yeah.
I think you could argue, like we've been kind of solidified saying T-Law is the 101, like undisputed, like he's in a god tier Superflex.
Yeah.
I think if Justin Fields goes to San Francisco, I mean Kyle Shanahan, all those weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, dude. I mean,
that'd be dirty.
Like from a fantasy perspective, you could argue Justin Fields 1 overall. I think. Personally,
they're still valuing.
It's spicy.
They're still valuing Garoppolo, and it's still a first-round ask according to these sports journalists. Big asterisks, but they're still saying that they value Garoppolo as a first-round ask.
They are fucking selling the sweetest snake fucking oil right now, dude. They did not trade 3 first-round picks and move up and take a fucking tackle or take Mac fucking Jones. I'm not buying it. They came up to take fucking Justin Fields, and if they do that, I promise you. Here right now, people are going to start discussing how there's a new tier. It's going to be that 1 overall, 2 overall pick, and those 2 are going to be very, very, very close.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Of course, draft's next week, so we'll be able to have answers on a lot of these questions pretty soon.
Speaking of draft next week, there's also the Apex Dynasty draft next week, starting on Saturday as well.
Oh, so much fun.
24 hours per pick, so there's no rush to anybody. But once you're on the clock, it's your pick.
Alexander, you're about to see so much value.
I might not open Sleeper because I'd have 0 picks in the rookie draft. So I wish you all the best. I will not be. I might jump in the chat, but I probably just might delete Sleeper because I'll just get a whole bunch of notifications saying what the picks are.
Let me go back to see, but you keep on going. I want to look at your team now that you've got the. I mean, yeah, you've made a foolproof team, Alexander, for this year.
Team is sublime.
I mean, you got CMC, Barkley, Elliott, Eckler. I mean, yeah, like none of these guys are going to get fucked by the draft, I don't think. I mean, yeah, Mike Evans, Ridley. You have your team will be really, really, really good this year, and then next year things get very.
Everything's going to fall apart. I know, Kurt. It won't win a game next year. I know.
We'll see.
We'll see. Just quickly overviewing receivers. I mean, I don't know.
Rookie receivers?
Yeah, rookie receivers. That last rookie slide.
I mean, it's a question of what you like at the end of the day in this class with the rookie receivers.
Yeah.
You've got a lot going on. You got Jamar, Devontae, Waddle, Terrace Marshall. You got Rondell Moore if you're looking for a little 5'6" guy, 5'8" guy. You got Tutu Atwell who weighed in at 142 pounds. I mean, that guy might get snapped in half the first game in the NFL. I feel bad
terrifying.
For that.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
Terrifies me.
Current.
Devontae Smith's size terrifies me. I know he can still do it. I know. And look, I'm paying all due respect to him. He did what he did in the SEC at probably that size. Probably lighter if it's the off season. He still weighs that.
Yes,
he probably
absolutely lighter. His game weight is so much less.
God, I mean, so look, I'm totally here for. Did he run a 4.27?
Devontae, no.
I thought he didn't run a 4.27.
He ran a 4.27?
That's what it said. That's what it said on the draft guide that I looked up for this.
I feel like someone's trolling. There's no way. We would have heard about that. That would have gone all across the world.
That's why there's an asterisk.
He ran a 4.49.
Okay, well.
I thought so. He didn't run a great
4.27. 4.27 would be otherworldly.
I mean, yeah, that's
like that's like fucking John Ross. But yeah, like I think Jalen Waddle's low key very enticing because I think that I like Jalen Waddle a lot. I think he might be because he got hurt, and I think I don't know if Devontae Smith wins the Heisman.
He was doing better on a per game basis. Yes, absolutely, he was when they were both on.
Yeah, he broke out. He broke out earlier, right? Like he had a younger breakout age. Like I just think I love me some Jalen Waddle. I love some Terrace Marshall. I think it's very top heavy in that I think Jamar and Devontae Smith are kind of in their own tier.
We haven't even talked about Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman, though.
I do love Rashad Bateman a lot. He did come in a little light, and his pro day was kind of shit. But I mean, that's still whatever. I mean, he's still
an alpha. He's an alpha human being. Kurt. You don't get alpha human beings everywhere. And the day you want an alpha. Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot. He's like. I think he's the most bust proof in the top tier. Like he'll come in and like do what you need to do. Like you know.
Well, I mean, we'll see. And everyone tune into the draft. Tell us what you think about. If you think all of our claims about these rookies have been bullshit, let us know. And if you like,
before we're done with the draft, Can we get y'all's predictions for the players that value will go highest and the player that will lose the most value in the draft?
I mean,
fantasy perspective, who do you think is going to go down? Like Mac Jones? Do you think he's just going to drop into the 20s? Maybe Trey Lance?
I do not know. Even if Mac Jones lands in one of these amazing spots that don't predict for him, I am not drafting Mac Jones in redraft if I have 3 empty roster spots and $100 draft dollars left. There's no way I'm drafting him.
If Mac Jones goes to San Francisco, though, like, it's gonna really suck. It's gonna take all the air out of the balloon, Alexander. All the fun. It'll be like someone literally, like, it'll be so shitty. But he will be very valuable.
They'll start Garoppolo over Mac Jones for the first year. They'll just let Mac sit.
I don't know, dude. They're not gonna. They will not pick him in the 3rd overall pick and not let him start immediately. I just don't. There's no fucking way.
No, they play the game where they're like, we're going to have a quarterback competition. Jimmy G wins week 1.
Gross.
And then it's like he has a shitty 3rd quarter. All of a sudden, Mac Jones is then he gets.
And then what does he do? He comes in and does like Kirk Cousins plus. Like, oh god.
Are they going to trade that pick? Are they going to trade that pick for a better quarterback? Because they have a team that can compete. They're going to get Bosa back. They're going to get everyone back this year. That's
Kyle Shanahan's not that stupid. I'm trusting Kyle Shanahan. He's a very, very good coach. But I think that some values that could go up in some personal lane spots I would love. Like, obviously Najee Harris first round going to the Steelers, that'd be like immediately you put him in like the top 12. Like he goes as like a top 12 running back off the board in redraft. I think immediately. If Etienne goes to like, the Falcons or to like even, to go compliment Chase Edmonds in, Arizona, like and just do a dual attack there. I think they could both do really well there. I mean, there's God, poor Devontae Smith though. I think Devontae Smith might end up with the Eagles, and I think anyone who goes to the Eagles is just gonna have a bad time.
I've been seeing Eagles getting Kyle Pitts.
Did y'all see that was the tweet today that they wouldn't name Jalen Hurts as the de facto starter?
Oh yeah,
the Eagles is very gross right now.
That is
gotta love some coach speak.
That's horrible.
It's a very foul situation. Kyle Pitts, please. No prime players go to the Eagles. I don't want to touch the Eagles. I think it's a very foul situation that I don't really want to mess with.
I think Miles Sanders does better than Joe Mixon this next year.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think they're both kind of in their own like.
Miles Sanders is a top 8 running back this year.
Curran thinks the Mixon's the RB1. Let's move on to Super Bowl picks. You can't pick the Saints, Curran, and you can't pick the Packers, Lippman.
That's just stupid.
I've got to pick between the Bucks, the Bills, Seahawks, Dolphins, Chiefs.
Those are just little.
The Seahawks and Dolphins aren't even colored in.
Those are just little logos that are on there. I wanted them all to be black.
He couldn't afford the actual logo.
Yeah, that's
Seahawks and Dolphins.
That's the premium package for Photoshop.
Once we get some better sponsors, we'll be able to.
Yeah, right now we're only sponsored by Roman Swipes. Kern, give us your Super Bowl prediction. If you can throw in that you would pick the Saints if you want, and you just have to pick someone else. Kern, if you pick the Saints, I know you're trolling. So pick someone who you actually think
no
winning the Super
Saints
Bowl.
Saints aren't going to do it.
Do you have the Bills on here? You do have the Bills. Very nice.
These aren't
the Bills.
Picks, I'm just saying.
I do like the Bills a lot. I think the Bills have a strong chance to win their division again, and that automatically puts them in contention. The AFC is just so tough right now. I don't know. Bills for the AFC for sure. I think that Kansas City is always in contention. I mean, AFC is pretty boring.
You got to plant your flag. I think who's winning it.
I think NFC is gonna be a little better. So I think I'll go up and I'll say Bills. Fuck it.
Bills. Okay, Lippman.
Give me the Bills. I'll take it.
I was going to go the Bills, but since Kern said Bills, I can't do that. Here's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with the Oakland Raiders. And they will lose to the Green Bay Packers. Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a Lippman pick.
It's gotten spicy. Twitter's gone crazy.
I am picking the Arizona Cardinals.
That's just stupid.
They built an oil well in Houston and drilled out all of the goodness they could.
Cliff Kingsbury, he's the worst coach in the NFL.
They've got.
Yeah, he's very overrated.
I'm not speaking. Look, there have been plenty of bad coaches that have won a Super Bowl.
Bill O'Brien,
like Bruce Arians.
Chase Edmonds season.
Yeah, exactly. It's Chase Edmonds season, And they're my pick. So we'll see what happens. The last slide here I've got is I want you all, based on value, based on talent, whatever your metric or a combination of any of them, who do you all pick one player think that will be a league winner this year?
Miles Sanders.
You think he's just
the way
undervalued?
I think he's a top 8 running back on the season. End of year, he's going to be a top 8 running back. Kern, when I said that, was like he couldn't even speak.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the way people are thinking of Miles Sanders, then I'm going to get him for a value next year.
You will. He's someone I'm looking for. I mean,
You're not getting.
I think he's a good value.
You're not going to get him. You clearly don't believe in him.
What would you pay for him in an auction draft?
I'd pay upwards of 40. Upwards of 40. Probably more.
Well, yeah.
I
think
might
so
go.
many running backs.
I mean, with the
so many running backs are going to get. Yeah, so many people are going to get capped for a good price this year. I think that a lot of running backs are going to get capped. I think
we said that last year, but then there was still Chris Carson, who was like a top 2 round pick, who was going for like 35 in the draft.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So if you're willing to pay for 40 plus for a running back that's not like a consensus top tier, you're going to get that running back.
I have 2, Alexander. Can I have 2 players for one for each position?
You absolutely can. You can. But
you
have to tell me which one you favor.
Which one am I going to plant my flag in, like, fully?
Yeah.
Plant it deep in there, Kern.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do the lesser one first.
Yeah, you've
got the lesser one right now.
Yeah, do the mulligan now.
All right, the mulligan, just for honorable mention, I got to say A.J. Brown, because I've always been a hater. I've never believed in his efficiency, and he is an efficiency-breaking player, and now he's in an offense where they're getting rid of a lot of targets.
Yeah.
I think that only means that he'll get more targets. And I think it's going to be wheels up for that motherfucker.
Who gets to keep AJ Brown for like $16? Do we know?
Probably Lippy. I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm being very,
$16.
I'm being very, 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 objective. But he's going to wheels up for him. And honestly, my main one, and I don't like giving too many of my cards away, but I have a big hard on for Cam Akers this year. I think that with Stafford there, with everything going on, I liked what I saw at the end of the year. I think he's going to be. I think Cam Akers is going to blow some socks off this year and be, if he goes for a value. So league winner means he goes for a value. I think that by the time drafts come around, he's going to be very inflated.
He's going to be over 50. I mean,
he will. And
or he's going to be
he'll
be kept by market by Goon, but I don't think he does that.
Yeah, if he goes for like 60 plus, I mean, he's no longer a value, but I mean, he could still do really well on a team. But like, if he goes like a second round running back, I think he could return top 5, top 6
RB.
draft, anyway.
I really like that one, Kern, because I think Cam Akers is going to be nuts. And I like the A.J. Brown pick, because I don't like A.J.
Who do you think, Alexander?
Oh, dear.
Dog's got a little excited outside.
We ran out of rental time, so we got to close this one up. I've thought about this one, and I've had a couple of things come to mind, and I really think that it's going to be Chris Carson. Kern, I meant what I said when we made that bet about Ridley versus Metcalf. They just fired their OC, who didn't run enough. They just gave Chris Carson the bag.
Is Chris Carson on a team?
He's on the Seattle paid him a big boatload of money this offseason.
Oh wow!
They brought him back.
They paid him a decent amount of money. Not like they paid him enough money to show that they're going to drive him into the earth. And I think you're going to get a very high volume year out of him. I think he's going to be very solid.
I think he is going to be. I mean, he might not be able to walk next year, but
he just has to be healthy.
This year, he's going to win people championships, and I've thought about it. And I mean, obviously, I still think DK Metcalf and Lockett they're still gonna get theirs, but I think that offense is going.
Lockett got the bag too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a humming offense right now.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, anyway,
I took Chris Carson in my company startup Dynasty League at a very good value. He went in I think I got Chris Carson after that signing. I saw him. He was on the board in the 6th round, and I was like, that's
a pick right
I had
there.
To take him.
Holy cow!
I had to take him, so I took him there. Now he's my RB2, and of course in that league as well, I have 7 draft picks. So he'll hold me down with my rookies. So looking forward to that. I do like that pick a lot. If he stays healthy, Alexander, he will return immense value.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're going to call it for now. This has been a great time. tell us what y'all think, and if y'all think it sucks complete ass, tell us that too. So, anywho, we'll talk to y'all later.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.